and all the stuff basically. Today I will discuss the discovery of anode ray. Basically today's class and tomorrow's class is a basically theoretical class. After that, when I completed Rutherford atomic model, Rutherford atomic, the postulate of Rutherford atomic model, then Bohr's model will arise. Bohr's model is basically totally depends on mathematics. Okay. So next week, from the next week, basically the mathematics class, that will be little bit interesting, because mathematics, when the mathematics done, that will definitely, that becomes very, very interesting. But today and tomorrow's class, this is a basically again theoretical class, because the atomic structure, the first part is a basically the theory. If you go through the atomic structure, the first one is a basically theory. Then after Bohr's model, all the stuff is very, very becomes interesting, and all the mathematical part. Okay. Okay, let's start with discovery of anode ray. Look, discovery of anode ray is totally similar to the cathode ray experiment. Now for anode ray experiment, from the anode ray, basically the proton gets discovered. Proton gets discovered. Similar experiment, almost similar experiment. Look, why the anode, why the proton concept was arise? Because we all know that atoms are neutral. So definitely, if the electron is a negatively charged, if the negatively charge is present and atom is neutral, so definitely some positive charge should be present. That's why positive negative coincide each other and atom becomes neutral. That's why the proton concept arises. Okay. What is proton? Suppose hydrogen. After hydrogen, it becomes H plus and electron, or oxygen. It becomes O plus plus electron. So the if the electron is present, similarly the positive charge is also present. And what is the role of electron? Electron can move towards the anode part. Electron can move towards the anode part. If you go through the positive can move towards the cathode point. If the electron is present in an atom, definitely must proton or positive charge must be present in an atom. That's why the atoms becomes neutral. So the proton concept gets discovered. So experiment is same, similar voltage, similar atmospheric pressure, all the things are similar. Only this positive charge moves towards the cathode. That's why this experiment is known as this experiment, or this ray is known as canal rays. Why the canal rays, that I will explain definitely, and anode rays. So what was the experiment? Similar type of diagram. This one is a discharge tube. Here the vacuum pump is present. This one is anode. And this cathode is perforated cathode. Perforated means the hole is present. Some hole is present in a cathode. This is anode. This one is a cathode. Suppose we are taking a gas at very low pressure. This one is a vacuum pump. In this vacuum pump, you are applying 10 to the power minus 4 atmosphere pressure. So that is very low pressure. And this cathode and anode joined with the battery. Okay. What we observed, suppose the gas is hydrogen, so it becomes H plus and electron. This H plus moves towards the cathode, because this one is a positively charged, and we all know that cathode is a negative charge. This one anode is positive charge, and the gas moves towards the cathode and also moves from these holes and strike on the wall. Okay, this is called perforated cathode. Perforated cathode. That means some hole is present in the cathode. Hole is present. Okay. Any doubt regarding this part? In this case, you are applying the high voltage, that is 10 to the power 4 volt. We all know that gas is basically not ionized in normal conditions, but at very high voltage and very low atmosphere pressure, it can ionize. And after ionization, it becomes positive charge and it becomes negative charge. Negative charge moves towards the anode, which is known as the cathode ray. That means electron moves towards the anode, and this positive part, this positive charge moves towards the cathode, which is known as canal rays or cathode rays. Any doubt regarding this part? Anjali, any doubt? Tanvi, any doubt? Navneet, any doubt?
No, sir.
And Avinya, is it clear? What is your name? Avinya. Okay. Any doubt regarding this part? Okay, just write it down, all the stuff. The discovery, the year of discovery is 1886. And what was the electron case? That is 1859. Almost 27 years back. Okay. So just write down. Who discovered? Goldstein. Performed the same experiment. Using perforated cathode. That means having holes. Okay. And found that rays are not only traveling from cathode to anode, are not only traveling from cathode to anode. Okay. But simultaneously also traveling from anode to cathode. Okay. And are passed through the holes. And are passed through the holes. Are called canal rays, because passed through the holes. That's why this is called canal rays. And it is moves towards the anode to cathode, known as, that's why this is known as anode rays. Why this is known as anode rays, why this is known as canal rays, is it clear? It's passed through the hole, that's why this is called canal. Canal means holes, and it moves towards cathode to anode, that's why this is called as a anode rays. Any doubt? This part is clear? Characteristics. Now, what are the characteristics? Characteristics of cathode ray and anode ray almost similar. most of the characters are similar. They pass through a straight line. For if you compare with anode ray having mass and velocity, definitely cathode ray having mass and velocities, that is also correct. Pass through a straight line. It can also, what we can say, uh, it can produce shadow of an object like as cathode rays. Cathode ray having mechanical effect, that anode ray also having mechanical effect. Mechanical effect means anode ray having mass as well as velocity. But what is the difference? The difference is basically E and E by M ratio. That is the main difference, E by M ratio. And another difference is, what we know that cathode ray is a negatively charged species, negatively charged electron can discover from cathode ray. So that's why cathode ray moves towards the positive external field, the positive external field experiment. You all know that. This one, suppose this one is a discharge tube. Suppose this one is a discharge tube. Cathode anode is present, connecting with a battery. We are using from the vacuum pump, 10 to the 4 volt. From the vacuum pump, the atmosphere is very less. We all know that cathode ray moves to cathode to anode, but you are applying external field, negative field. Suppose this one is a positive field, this one is a negative field. For cathode ray, we all know that this external positive, this one is also positive charge, this one is also positive charge, but this external positive charge is very near to the cathode ray. That's why cathode ray moves these directions. Okay, that we all know that. For anode ray, we all know that for anode ray, suppose for anode ray, again this is a discharge tube, battery, vacuum pump, all the stuff is present. Anode ray moves towards the cathode. We are applying external external field. This one is the external negative field, this one is the external positive field. We all know this is also negative charge. Now look which negative charges come, which this negative charge is very fond. We can say this one is a positively charged, and this negative charge is closer. That's why the anode ray moves with the external negative directions. Okay, instead for cathode ray it moves toward the external positive field, and for anode ray it moves toward the external negative field. That is the first difference. This one is the first difference that I will write down definitely. And second one, we all know that charge of electron is fixed, mass of electron is also fixed. That's why E by M ratio is fixed for cathode ray. But if you go through the anode ray, E by M ratio. Now look, charge is same, but definitely if you take hydrogen gas, the mass of hydrogen gas is different. If you take oxygen gas, then it dissociate to O plus O minus E minus. Now definitely the H plus mass and O oxygen mass, hydrogen and oxygen mass is different. If the mass is different, this one is different. So we can say E by M ratio is not fixed. So basically cathode ray not fixed for anode ray. So for cathode ray, E by M ratio is fixed. That's why whatever gas taken in your discharge in a discharge tube, that is totally independent. Cathode ray is totally independent on that. But what type of gas taken in a discharge tube, anode ray is dependent on the gas. That is a two major difference between cathode ray and anode ray. Any doubt regarding this part? This part is clear. E by M ratio concept is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just write it down, these 2 points. The first point, they have same properties. Same properties of cathode rays. Only difference is that the first point, they deflect toward the negative plate. Towards negative plate of the electric field. Which indicates they are positively charged. And second point, mass of proton. Mass of proton. We all know that 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27, 10 to the power minus 27 kg. And what is the mass of electron? Mass of electron is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Now tell me, for anode ray or and cathode ray, if you compare with cathode ray and anode ray, in which case E by M ratio is the highest? Look, if the mass is increasing, we can say E by M ratio is decreasing. If the mass is decreasing, then we can say E by M ratio is increasing. Now tell me, in which case, if you compare with proton, this value or this value, which one is the lower value? Definitely electron value is the lower value, 10 to the power minus 31. So that's why E by M ratio, E by M ratio is highest or higher for cathode ray as compared to anode ray. Because mass of proton is greater than mass of electron. Is it clear? Any doubt regarding this part?
No, sir.
Okay. Second point. Third point, just write down specific charge. That means E by M ratio or Q by M ratio. E by M ratio, just write down E by M ratio of anode ray. Depends upon nature of gas taken. Nature of gas taken in the tube. Okay. Now look, this E by M ratio. M ratio is maximum for hydrogen, because we all know that mass of hydrogen is the lowest as compared to other gas. Is maximum for hydrogen gas. Because mass of hydrogen is minimum. Hydrogen is minimum. Okay, that's why proton is denoted as H11. This is actually proton. So for proton case, only remember this gas should be hydrogen. Okay, if you take oxygen, if you take nitrogen, then proton you cannot find out. Proton is only possible when the gas is hydrogen. Why? Because E by M ratio is maximum for hydrogen gas. Any doubt regarding this part? Any doubt why we are taking hydrogen gas in a discharge tube? Because the E by M ratio, we get the maximum value of E by M ratio if you take hydrogen gas in a discharge tube. That's why proton, and that is called proton. And proton, what is the proton? Proton is basically 1H1. Any doubt? Not oxygen, not nitrogen. If you go for the cathode ray experiment, you can take any of gas, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, because all are, after discharge, all are getting electron. But for cathode ray, for anode ray experiment, you have to take only hydrogen gas in a discharge tube. Any doubt regarding this part?
No, sir.
Okay. So find out the E by M ratio, charge of electron, charge by mass, charge by mass of proton. E by M ratio for anode ray, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, and this value is 1.67 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. So after calculating, you get 9.58 into 10 to the power 7 coulomb per kg. Okay, so the discovery of proton completed, or discovery of anode ray completed. Okay, and third one is basically the discovery of neutron, discovery of last fundamental particle, discovery of neutron. Now look, electron discovered on 1859 for proton case, 1882 for neutron case, that is 1932. Okay, that is 1932. Almost 40 years. Okay, now in this 40 years, all the model, Thomson models, Rutherford models, Bohr's model, that is discovered in between 1882 to 1932. The Thomson model, Rutherford model, quantization theory, all are discovered between this. Okay, now how the neutron, why the neutron concept allowed? Now look, for neutron concept, beryllium atom, when bombarded with alpha particles is basically this one, alpha particles, we get normal carbon atom. Now look, in this case 4 plus 2 is 6, that is fine, but here 9 plus 4 is 13. So this one you have to, here this one is 12, here this one is 13. That's why the new term, that is neutron, which having only mass. Okay, no atomic number. Any doubt regarding this part? Now calculate. This one is a 12, 12 plus 1, 13. This one is a 9 plus 4, 13. All the stuff becomes equal. Any doubt? A new particle, neutron is a new particle which is basically electrically neutral, having mass, and this mass is slightly greater than the mass of proton. Is it clear? Any doubt regarding this part?
No, sir.
Okay, so just write it down. In 1932, Sedgwick was bombarding a thin sheet of beryllium with alpha particles. Alpha particles is basically this one. And he found that a new particles which is basically electrically neutral. A new particles is electrically particles which is electrically neutral, having mass which is slightly greater than proton, named as neutron. Okay, so electron, proton and neutron are the fundamental particles of an atom, which is also present in each and every atom except hydrogen. Also present each and every atom except hydrogen, because we all know that hydrogen is basically 1H1. In this case, no neutron, only proton and electron present. Any doubt regarding this part? Up to that part, any doubt? Up to discovery of any fundamental particle, any doubt? So part 2 of atomic structure completed. Part 1 is basically the basic theory and second one is basically the discovery of fundamental particles. That part completed. So just write down what are the fundamental particles, just particles, and what are the symbols. You have to remember this part: mass and discoverer. First one is electron. The experiment of cathode ray experiment was done by we all know that the cathode ray experiment was done by Julius Barker. He named as a negatron, but the electron name was given by scientist Thomson. Okay, so the symbol of electron is -E0. Mass, we all know that 9 point, another thing, mass, discoverer and charge. Just a minute. Mass, charge and discoverer. What is the mass of electron? 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Or you can write 1.00055 AMU. AMU is atomic mass unit. Okay. If you go through the charge, minus 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Coulomb is basically the SI unit. And if you go through the CGS concept, that is minus 4.8. Okay, that is minus 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 10 ESU, electrostatic unit. ESU means electrostatic unit. That is Thomson. Next one is basically proton. Proton, you can write H11. What is the mass? Mass of proton is 1.67 26 into 10 to the power minus 27 kg. If you go through the AMU, 1.64, sorry, 1.00757 AMU. Sorry, this one is 0 point. And what is the charge? Charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. And for electrostatic unit, the charge value is same, only the sign is different. ESU. Who discovered? Goldstein. And if you go to the neutron, you can write this one. Charge is neutral. Chadwick, scientist Chadwick discovered neutron. And what is the mass? Look, 1.6749. Here this one is a 26, here this one is a 49. Only little bit. The mass of neutron is only little bit greater than mass of proton. The value of, if you go through the ESU, 1.00833 AMU. Any doubt? All the stuff is given here. Any doubt regarding this part? Any doubt?
No, sir.
This one is a basically tabular form of mass, charge and symbol of electron, proton, neutron. And what is ESU? Just write down the name, electrostatic unit. Remember, coulomb is taken. Coulomb in a charge case, coulomb is taken as a SI unit and ESU is taken as a CGS unit. Electrostatic units. Okay, these are the fundamental particles, and there are non-fundamental particles. Some non-fundamental particles is also present. Non-fundamental particles, fundamental particles. Non-fundamental particles are basically the neutrino, antineutrino, meson, positron, etc. Which are non-fundamental particles. Any doubt? The fundamental and non-fundamental particle concept completed. Then I will go through the properties of charge. What are the properties of charge? Any doubt up to that part? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Next is properties of charge. What are the basic properties of charge? What are these things? Just write down properties of charge. Okay, for next meeting ID, password and link all are same. Okay. Now, properties of charge. First point is very important. Charge is quantized. Charge is quantized means, suppose sodium. After dissociation, it gives Na plus and 1 electron. Suppose if you write down the magnesium. Magnesium after dissociation, it gives Mg2 plus 2 electron. Now look, quantized means the value of charge is basically 1, 2, 3, anything. This value you cannot write like as a 1.5 electron. It is not possible. Okay, it is not possible. Quantization means is basically the integer value. It can take only an integer value, not any fraction value. Okay, so just write it down. Charge is always quantized. That means it can take only integer value of electron. value of electron. So symbol, what is the symbol of charge? Symbol of charge is Q. Okay, which is written as Ne, where E represent the electron and N represent the integer. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, anything. Can be N can be 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. Okay. Any doubt regarding this part? Regarding first point, any doubt? The integer concept? Any doubt regarding this part? Do you have any doubt? Disha, any doubt? Anjali, any doubt? Tanvi, any doubt? Navneet, Avinya, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Go for second point. Okay. Before that, I am ending this meeting. Only